Okay, here's what you need to know about anxiety and trauma. First, I want to say that what you're feeling, I get that it's really, really scary and uncomfortable, and you're experiencing, like it's actually happening. So it's nothing that it's in your head because you can feel it physically in your body. And a lot of times when we feel these sensations, we actually become afraid of feeling these sensations, and it makes us feel more safe and it creates more anxiety. Here's the scientific thing when it comes to any emotions is it's literally a chemical reaction that's happening in your physical body, and that's it. But it feels so uncomfortable because it's something that we were taught was not safe for us to express and feel. So we've repressed it for so long in our lives. So when one little thing triggers you and makes you anxious, it might feel like this is really stupid. Like, why am I anxious about it when you like consciously think about it? But what happens is every single time that you've experienced anxiety in your life since you were a child, if you did not allow that chemical reaction to complete, it ends up piling on top of each other. And that's why it's so uncomfortable and feels so scary to release, because you have a lifetime amount of anxiety that's trying to come out of your body. And what happens is this information that's coming out of your body, this chemical reaction, it triggers something back in your like mammalian brain, and it creates a thought of like, this is not safe. I need to flee, I need to freeze, I need to fight, all of those things. And that information that's coming from your body is called affect. Information that goes from the body to the brain is affect, and information that goes from the brain to the body is effect. And what can happen is we create this thing called affect phobia, where we fear the information and the data and the feelings and the emotions that are coming from our physical body. So to really begin to shift your anxiety, it's about reducing that fear of feeling the feelings in your body, creating a level of like introspection where you're connecting to the sensations of your body again. And to be able to do that, you need a place of safety for that. Because let's say you're out and about in the world and something triggers you and it makes you feel unsafe, and then you feel anxiety. Well, it's going to feel unsafe to allow all of that chemical reaction to be completed because you're actually in an unsafe environment. So that trigger is just going to get repressed, and pieces of it, the unfinished pieces of the affect, is going to bottle up and create more and more explosive triggers in your physical body. So one thing that I really am starting to understand about anxiety in general is that out in the world, we talk about anxiety, ways to help anxiety is like breath work, visualization, meditation. Okay, name 5 things you see, 4 things you can like listen to, 3 things that you like right now I can't even think about those things. So all your senses, right? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then that's going to help rewire your mind to think about something else, to take your focus off the anxiety. But my belief is that that's actually repressing it. It's almost telling the anxiety, you're bad, you're wrong, you're not allowed, we're going to change you. And that helps you to repress the energy. It doesn't allow the chemical reaction to finish. So anxiety needs to have the energy to finish so that your nervous system can be like, oh, okay, we're safe now. Okay. And I want to explain this in a way of what's called the Polyvagal Theory. And that says that there's 3 different states of the nervous system. There's 2 that are considered parasympathetic, and then there's 1 that's considered the sympathetic. Most people understand what parasympathetic is. That's like your rest and digest. And sympathetic is that fight mode. So parasympathetic is actually divided into 2. There is what they call the ventral, which is the top. This is like where you're feeling connected, you're feeling safe, and you're very social. Then below that, we have the sympathetic, which is where the anxiety sits, okay? Which also can be excitement, it can be play. And then below that, we have what is called the dorsal, which is another parasympathetic state, where this is your freeze mode. This is like sadness, depression, numbness, like you just don't even want to move. And what I see happens in a lot of the teachings with anxiety is if you're in that sympathetic state, you're in that the anxiety level, right? Like the heart palpitations and all that stuff, the energy's like really vibrating. Then you try to do like breath work. You're actually bringing yourself down into the dorsal state. So what happens is you've got the gas pedal on, you're like, go, 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 go with the anxiety. And you're like, oh, let me put the brake on at the same time with my breath work. So underneath all of that, the anxiety is still running, but you just can't feel it. Does that make sense? So what I see needs to happen is instead of us to go down the ladder, we need to go up the ladder. So we need to finish the anxious like energy to get it out of the body. Because a lot of times what happens is people feel a lot of anxiety in their life, and then all of a sudden it's so much and the body's like, we can't be pumping this energy out all the time. Like it's literally like burning all of our energy stores and our body can't function properly, like the organs and everything like that. So it puts the brake on automatically. Like your nervous system is so smart. But then what happens is that puts you into that freeze mode, that puts you into the depression, that puts you into the sadness and the numbness. It's like, okay, now I'm just not going to feel the anxiety, but it's still running underneath. So we need to really be able to tap in with these emotions, like where are we actually sitting, and allowing the energy to start moving again. So if you're feeling very, very numb, and let's say you're prone to anxiety, most likely you've got the gas pedal on and the brake at the same time, and the body's stopping you from feeling things. So we need to get that energy moving again. It's not staying in there and let's just do like breath work to work through the numbness and meditate and all those things. No, we need to get the body physically moving. We need to get the energy moving again. Like we are like emotional and energetic beings. We should have these things, these energies moving through us all the time, but most of the world is very numb. So what we want to do is we want to get ourselves out of that dorsal state, get our body moving, get our energy moving, and feeling these emotions flowing through us and letting these emotions actually finish their process. And when they do that, you're going to feel calm, relaxed, you're going to feel more positive emotions, you're going to feel social, you're going to feel like you want to connect with people. So when you feel anxiety, you want to meet your anxiety where it's at. So you want to move your body in a way that connects with the anxiety. So something like high intensity movement and exercise would be really good. You want to, let's say the anxiety brings out a lot of like anger or frustration in you. You want to feel those things. So doing like movements, you know, that are going to bring that out, like maybe it's like punching and kicking and screaming or yelling, listening to angry music, just really getting that anxiety and that sympathetic energy to move out of your system. And once you allow yourself to actually feel those feelings and let those things out, your body's just going to relax and calm. So it's kind of like if you look back to like you know, when it was a time where people were like literally getting chased by animals, you know, and like they're gonna die. It's like all of a sudden that sympathetic nervous system comes in and it's like, oh my gosh, you're being chased by a tiger. You go, 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 go. The adrenaline comes up. And then all of a sudden when you're safe, that energy is dissipated. And then you're calm and you're relaxed. You can get back to your connection and your socialization. But what happens is we live in a state that that tiger is chasing us all of the time. So when you're feeling that, you need to almost like get yourself into the state like I'm being chased. Let me expel all that energy and that fear and that anxiety around being chased. And then I can relax when I'm no longer being chased, meaning I can let that energy be released. So I see it as it's very important for you to meet where your energy level is at through whatever way works for you, whether it's using your voice, whether it's listening to music, whether it's movement, and whether it's all of the same. It can also be through breath work. So with anxiety, you can use the fire breath where it's breathing in and out of the nose and pumping and like contracting your stomach. So it goes like this. So give that a try. That will help you to expel that anxiety because you're meeting the anxiety where it's at, okay? It's time in the world for us to stop fearing feelings and emotions in our body. It's time for us to start feeling safe in our body and to know that we can regulate what we're feeling in our physical body when it comes up and no longer feel like ashamed by it, feel like we need to go and leave, you know, when we're socializing, it's like, oh, I'm feeling anxiety now, I need to go leave and go home, or I need to just push that down because it's not safe to feel that. Wouldn't it be amazing to be in a world where people could just regulate their emotions and feel what they feel in the moment and just know that they're chemical reactions that are flowing through the body and it doesn't mean anything? It's because we have a mind that makes everything a meaning-making machine. It's a meaning-making machine. So it's time to get past that. Start to allow yourself to feel these feelings in your physical body so that we no longer repress it. Because as we repress these feelings of discomfort, we begin to fear them more. And they also start to create dis-ease in our body because they're keeping you in that survival state 24/7. Even when you're calm and you're feeling numb, you're still in that survival state because you have the gas pedal and the brake on at the same time. So good luck with managing your anxiety and give that a try. Try to meet your emotions where they're at and just really play with what works for you, what feels like connecting with the feeling instead of trying to repress it or run away from it. Just be in the experience and just, you know, just over time trying a little bit more and more to feel it. Because at first it's going to feel very unsafe and most likely you're going to go into shutdown when you start to feel it. So just be really gentle with yourself, and whether it's like, oh, I'm feeling anxiety, let me just try to just move my body. Let me just try to listen to some music that's just a little bit more stimulating and see what happens.